Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive. And this time, we're going to be tackling some essential English vocabulary. We've got this really cool collection of simple word definitions and some good examples. And I think we're going to uncover how these simple words can actually have a surprising impact on your fluency and your understanding of the language.
Oh, I like that.
You might even be surprised how useful this is, whether you're traveling, working, or just trying to have a casual conversation.
It's true. Sometimes those really basic words are the most powerful ones because they're kind of like the foundation of everything,
Okay, so let's jump right in.
Yeah.
With this word appropriate, right?
Yeah.
We got a definition here, but
Yeah.
What I think is really interesting is how this idea of appropriateness can change.
Yeah.
So much depending on the situation and even the culture. Have you ever had any experiences with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. What's appropriate to wear to a business meeting? In one country could be totally different in another. Even in the same culture, what's appropriate can change over time.
Oh, totally. That makes me think about how language itself evolves, right? Like words take on new meanings, and what was once considered appropriate, can become totally outdated or even offensive.
Right. Yeah.
So being mindful of context is really important.
Totally agree. Context is everything.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears a bit. We'll go to avoid and behave.
Okay.
These words might seem really straightforward, but they touch on some really fundamental aspects of human behavior.
Yeah.
Avoid suggests that we can actually anticipate and prevent bad stuff from happening, while behave sort of implies that there's this set of expectations and norms, right?
Thinking about avoid, it makes me think about how important it is to be able to assess risks and make decisions that help keep us safe, whether that's physically, emotionally, or even financially.
That's such a good point. Avoid isn't just about steering clear of physical danger, but it's also about making choices that are good for us, for our well-being.
Totally, yeah. Okay, let's dive into some feelings.
Right. Feelings.
Calm, concern, and content.
Yeah.
These words kind of represent a whole spectrum of emotional states, right, that we all experience. And what I find fascinating is how our ability to recognize these feelings and then articulate them plays a huge role in how we communicate and in our relationships.
Yeah. I completely agree. Being able to actually express our emotions effectively is really crucial for building healthy connections with people. If we can't say how you're feeling, it can cause a lot of misunderstandings and frustrations.
Right. And on the other side, being able to recognize those same emotions in other people, allows us to empathize and respond in a more compassionate way.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to expect and frequently.
Okay.
So these words are all about anticipation and repetition. I'm curious, how do you see these concepts playing out in our everyday lives?
Well, expect is interesting because it implies a belief about the future. Sometimes our expectations are met, sometimes they're not, which can lead to, all sorts of different emotions from joy to disappointment. Frequently, on the other hand, highlights the power of habit.
Oh, yeah.
The more often we do something, the more it becomes part of our routine.
That's a great point about habits. It makes me think about how we can use that knowledge to our advantage, right? By consciously developing positive habits that support our goals.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to instruct an issue.
Okay.
So instruct is about guidance and teaching, while issue often points to some kind of problem or challenge that needs to be addressed. So instruct is providing clear directions, and then issue is about identifying what needs to be fixed or improved.
Yeah.
It seems like these two ideas kind of go hand in hand.
They do, especially in learning environments or work settings.
Yeah, for sure. Now, for a pair, that might leave you wanting more. None and patient.
Okay.
None basically signifies that there's an absence or a lack of something, while patient kind of encourages us to just keep going, even when things are difficult or delayed.
None can be a really powerful word because it's a complete absence. It can make you feel kind of empty or there's a scarcity of something, but it can also be a starting point for something new.
Right, yeah.
Patient, on the other hand, reminds us that sometimes the best things in life take a while.
And that sometimes waiting can lead to even better outcomes than we initially thought.
Totally.
Okay, let's talk about consequences and actions. Positive punish, and represent.
Okay, big words.
So positive highlights the good.
Mm-hmm.
Punish focuses on the negative repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
And then represent can have a lot of different meanings.
Yeah.
From like symbolizing something to acting on someone's behalf.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting how these words all relate to how we make choices and deal with the results.
It is interesting. And
Yeah.
it's important to remember that, like, the concept of punish is really complex. We often associate it with negative consequences.
Right.
But it can also be seen as a form of correction.
Yeah.
Or even a way to discourage bad behavior.
Yeah, that's a really important point. It reminds us that language can be nuanced.
It can. And the same word can have totally different interpretations, depending on the context.
Right, totally. Finally, let's end with some good action words. Shake, spread, stroll, and village.
All right. Action.
I love how these words like paint such vivid pictures
Yeah.
in our minds.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself taking a leisurely stroll
Okay.
through a charming village where the aroma of fresh bread is like spreading through the air, and you shake hands with friendly locals.
That's a beautiful image. It really reminds us how language can, like, transport us to different places, different experiences.
So as we've seen, even the most simple words in the English language can have surprising depth and complexity.
Yeah.
They really shape how we see the world,
Hmm.
how we talk to each other, and how we make sense of our experiences.
And I think that's what makes language so fascinating. It's constantly evolving. It's a tool that lets us express ourselves, connect with other people, and understand ourselves better.
Now here's a question for you all to consider. How do these simple words, the ones we use every day, influence your personal view of the world and how you interact with the people around you? It's something to think about.
That's a good one.
Until next time, happy exploring.
Happy exploring.